Howdy, howdy, howdy. Let me make sure that everything is working with my audio real quick. Yep, sounds like everything is good with my audio. And I gotta say, it's been a while since I've been in this form, hasn't it? I mean, look at this. Well, actually, it hasn't been that long ago. I mean, after all, we played Repo not too long ago. Which I don't know why I keep saying not too long ago. Has it been that long ago? I don't think it's been that long ago. In fact, how long ago has it been? It hasn't been that long ago. Maybe like around 2 to 3 weeks or so. Anyways, enough fooling around. Greetings, creatures and humans alike. I am MagiQDog, and tonight, on this special chat stream, I will actually be talking about my own guide to conventions. That's right, we are finally doing that one stream that I've been wanting to do for a long while, but I wasn't able to because of some stuff going on here and there and everywhere. But now we are finally able to do it, and I am excited for it. Unfortunately, I could not get a PowerPoint kind of going on and all that. However, I was able to use my Photoshop, so we are definitely going to be using that. Let's see. Oh, other announcements before we get started. I kind of forgot that I needed to add a Creature of the Week stream along with the One Piece manga reaction stream because since I'll be doing my vacation pretty much on, I want to say Thursday or Friday. After all, me and my family are going to be going away, so I won't be back at least till next Sunday. So yeah, I need to figure out how to do a bunch of these streams that I got planned for. Yeah. I was able to get done with my Creature of the Week stream, so I think tomorrow I'm actually going to do both the SCP artwork stream that I got planned for, while also going to be doing my Creature of the Week. I may do my Creature of the Week either before or afterwards, but either way, tomorrow night, I'll be busy with 2 streams. And then Tuesday, as I'll be playing my One Piece Odyssey, I also plan on doing my One Piece manga reaction as well. So yeah, tomorrow night, Creature of the Week and SCP artwork, and Tuesday night, One Piece manga reaction and One Piece Odyssey. And then Wednesday we'll do our Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild stream, which I am excited to get back into that game. I'll admit, that game has kind of grown on me. Oh yeah, I also gotta figure out Jump Force as well. After all, we'll be starting that stream pretty soon. Ooh. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff to do. But for now, it is time for me to switch everything around, and let us get started on this guide. By the way, if you guys are interested in me creating more guides in the future, let me know. Like whenever I get this uploaded on YouTube and stuff, which people on Twitch say hi to YouTube later on in the future. Even though I should have like a let's see. There we go. I'll have that up there just in case anyone stops by. Anyways, be right back. Okay, everyone. Oh no, my chat board is gonna be in the way. Hang on. We gotta decrease it. It's always something. It is always something. Okay. We need to bring that small. He's gonna be in the way. You know what? I'm sorry, guys, but no chat board. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought I could make it work, but I couldn't do it. But anyways, this is a great way to start a stream, by the way. With me being the professional, unprofessional as I am. Okay. So, this is how this is gonna work. I'm gonna show some images with the title of each point. Then I'm gonna bring up like the key points about it, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about it, and then we're gonna move on to the next point. So, to finally start this off, guys, 2 conventions. Let's get started. The con. Okay, so cons. What is a con? Well, cons or conventions are a gathering or a meeting events of a random profession. So this can pretty much mean all kinds of things. It could be like about comics, it could be about like anime, it could even be about certain kind of animes. After all, I'm pretty sure there is a convention that deals with just One Piece, and I'm sure there are conventions that deal with just Attack on Titan. There could be like a DC conventions and all that. Now, the type of cons. I already mentioned a few, but there are many different types of conventions. Some of the most common ones that you will see are like anime cons, comic cons, game cons, TV series / movies cons. There's furry conventions. There are streaming cons like TwitchCon. Let's see, and there's etc. I already mentioned about some others too, like DC, Marvel. There's just a bunch of different things going on. Now, right here are the sizes. Now, this is kind of like a thing that I created myself to kind of show how big of a convention there is. And I decided to have 4 different size categories for them. You got the small cons. These are the cons that are kind of like really small, just enough for you to kind of go through the entire convention and kind of see everything and get it done within a day or so. So yeah, not big at all. Then you got the medium-sized ones. The medium-sized ones are pretty much as the name implies, they are pretty good sized cons, kind of like bigger than a small convention, but still small enough that aren't like the really huge ones that are out there. These are the conventions where it may take an actual full-on day or even a day or two to go through everything, but you should be able to see everything by the end of the convention itself. Then you got the large conventions. These are the ones that are really big. And these are so big that you might not be able to see everything within that first 3-day or 4 or 5-day period. Also to mention that these large cons may have more than 3 days, so they may last for more than a weekend. Then you have the extra large cons. These are the cons that are pretty much the big of the big ones. These are the ones to where it may take multiple trips going like for a few years in order to see everything going on. In my experience, I have seen plenty of small and medium ones. I've been to, I want to say, 3 different large ones, but I have not been to an extra large one yet. And those are the ones I really want to go to. Let's see. Now, I will go ahead and say this. Depending on the type of con goer that you are, you may get overwhelmed with these large ones. So a small to medium one would be more of your stature. But if you're the type that gets bored real easy, and you think that the small and medium ones ain't going to do that well for you, then go to the large and extra large ones. It really just depends on your taste. Now, expectations. These are going to be the stuff that you normally see at a convention, which will include a dealer and gaming room. Um, Sorry, I can't see my mouse because I gotta move my guy a bit. Ah, here we go. So, basically, a dealer slash gaming rooms. These are kind of like the dealer's room are places where you can buy merch, while the gaming room are places where you could buy, I mean, not buy, but play games. You got panels and events. These are kind of like events going on where you can have fun. You often see people, you along with cosplayers. After all, you're going to see a bunch of those there. You're also going to see staff and members. These are the ones that's going to be kind of like the little helpers of the conventions, making sure everything is running smoothly. You're also going to see guests, as these are the people where you can get like autographs, signings, and all that kind of stuff. And you will also get food and services. This will include like regular food stalls that will be inside or outside the con. You may also get some service, kind of like first aids, cosplay repair shops, uh, places to buy medicine. You may also get beer at the con if they're like the depending on the hotels and stuff, and so on and so forth. And of course, there's etc. 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 Alrighty. Ugh. Now then, I think that pretty much talks about what kind of cons they're on, so let's move on to the next one. At the con. Okay, so there are. Oh, hang on, I'm gonna have to move my. I'm gonna have to move myself again. Here we go. Okay, so at the convention, you're gonna have a lot of things going on. But what are those things that are going on? I love how I just keep repeating myself. Well, I will tell you. First off, you got the dealer's room. Inside the dealer's room, you will have the venues and stuff where they'll be selling merch, clothing, booze and snacks, sometimes some art pieces, and etc. This is basically the place where you're going to do a lot of your shopping. And as someone that likes to go into the dealer's room myself, I often spend a lot. Next, you got the gamins. These are the areas where you're able to go and play video games, or games in general. This will include arcade games, kind of like them having pinball machines in the old arcade games like Pac-Man, Rampage, and all that, and so on and so forth. You also get the digital games. These are the normal video games, kind of like you playing like Nintendo, PlayStation, so on and so forth. I've seen some really old style gaming consoles like Nintendo 64. I forgot the one that's called, but it has like a little stick that you control. And we've seen some of the older GameCubes and a bunch of stuff like that. You also have, oh, I misspelled board games. Let's see, where's that at? Hang on. I am fixing this error. Haha, here you are. There we go. Now we fixed my error. And what error that was? We don't need to let people know. Anyways, where was I? Okay, so we got the board games. This is basically the little room where you can pick out a bunch of board games that you can borrow and play at tables. This will include like regular let's see, what kind of board games are there? You can play Sorry, you could play let's see, Sorry. I think there's mouse traps. I think I've seen that before. Monopoly, the game of life, so on and so forth. You also in these rooms, you can also borrow cards and play card games as well, which includes the Cards Against Humanity, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, so on and so forth. There's even Oh, I misspelled that too. Oh, don't tell me I'm gonna have a bunch of spelling errors. That is not what I was hoping for. Okay. Competitions. You're also gonna get a lot of competitions as well. I've seen Magic the Gathering competitions, I've seen Pokemon competitions, and it's not just with cars, but also with video games as well. Heck, I think there was a time where there was actually a panel that had like a bunch of Super Smash Bros competitions, so that's fun. And of course, there's a bunch of other things that you can play as well, etc., etc. Now, you're also going to get panels and events. Now, panels are basically like these 1 to 2 hour mini events where you could go in and you can have fun. Now, what kind of panels you'll get? There is no telling. You could just see all kinds of stuff. I've seen panels where, let's see. Give me just a second. I'm gonna think on this. I don't often go to a lot of panels. You can get panels where it involves voice acting. You can get panels where you can watch certain anime clips. You can get panels where you can learn how to do cosplays and stuff. You can have panels where they talk about like certain stuff going on in animes. Let's see. You just get all kinds of panels. I'll kind of give you an example. There is a panel that I've seen that is called Poke Church, and Poke Church is basically a Sunday panel event where you go in, and it's basically like going to church but with Pokemon themes. The one that hosts it dresses up as Jessie, and she is a really funny person. I do recommend going there if you happen to kind of see about it. And I think that she's branching out to a bunch of other conventions as well. So you might be able to see this Poke Church every once in a while. It is really fun. Now then, as for events, you have like major events going on. These events may include like an opening ceremony, which I'm going to show it right there. It could include closing ceremonies. It could be like basically there's a bunch of different events. And to kind of go down the list, I already mentioned it, but there's opening ceremonies. You have panels. You also have some major events, which will include cosplayer competitions. These are competitions where people go out there and they show off their best cosplays that they make. You cannot go buy them, you have to make them yourself. You also have AMV contests, where, which I don't have an S right there, but basically it's a contest where you make your own AMV and you see if you can win or not. There's also actor events. These are ones where guest stars, like voice actors or actors themselves, will host like an event and kind of gets the crowd going. There are also other events, which I can't really think of them off the top of my head, but you know what I mean. Then you have the closing ceremony, which pretty much ends off the con. Just like the opening ceremony where it opens the con. Now, you also got the art room, where it has like its own venues. It has its own art merch, like a bunch of posters. Let's see. I've seen posters. I've seen plushies. I've seen stickers. I've just seen a bunch of different art merch. You also get some 18 plus arts, which I'm not going to say what that means, but for some of you, you pretty much know what I'm talking about. Now, you also got video and AMVs. Man, this one has got a bunch of spelling errors, doesn't it? Watch leech. And G. There you go. Okay, so with this one, you'll pretty much have like a small areas where you could go and you could either watch anime or you can go and watch AMVs. Now, the anime parts, I often will sit down and there will be the way they do it is that they will play like the first 3 to 4 episodes and then they'll move on to another anime. These anime watching rooms are pretty much meant to get people to kind of give animes a shot. In fact, it was thanks to this that I actually gave School Life a shot. So yeah, I recommend that. And of course, AMVs, that kind of shows you like AMV rooms where you watch AMV videos. Now, you got the 18 plus. Now, these are panels, events, or stuff in general that are not for the young people. You will need a photo ID or proof of identification where you can enter these panels or events. And yeah, there is a lot of shit that goes down on them. Not that I'm going to say by experience. Anyways, in these 18 pluses, you will have like panels where they will do like a lot of stuff. You will have like there will be some games where you'll be able to play. Let's see, probably like adult games. There will also be certain shows and events. Boy, I am really getting uncomfortable talking about this. They will also be playing some animes for adults. And there are other stuff that goes on as well. Anyways, moving on. Now you got the photo shoots. These are events where basically it's basically a gathering of like cosplayers that does like a certain theme and stuff, and they do like a big photo shoot. And if you're lucky enough, you may even show up on like their websites and stuff. It's really cool. Now, a type of photo shoots will involve like anime/cartoons, where, for example, you could do like a One Piece photo shoot, you could do Naruto, you could do Hell of a Boss, you could do Hazbin Hotel, you could do Bleach, Attack on Titan, Hellsing, Jujutsu Kaisen, and a bunch more. You also got games where it can focus on certain characters from video games. A lot of times that I've seen is like Genshin Impact, Overwatch, and so on and so forth. And let's not even forget about the comics as well. After all, DC and Marvel's got a lot of photo shoots. I haven't seen this a lot, but I figured that there will be photo shoots that involve movie characters, like maybe Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park/World, Terminator, and so on and so forth. And of course, you get like others photo shoots as well, which I would think that furries will also get involved. But yeah, that's pretty much what you will be expecting to see at a con. Now, let's move on to the next one, which I'm going to move my character a bit. Yeah. Wow. Hotel and travel. Now, this part will basically show you on key points about hotels and traveling and so on and so forth. And let me move my character over here. Gotta stuff myself real quick. Okay, now, hotel booking. Basically, this means that you have to be the one in charge about getting a hotel reservation. This will often include like calling the hotel and making plans, or you could go on sometimes the con's website and be able to make a reservation through their website. You will be the one that'll be booking the hotel, including how many days you're staying, how many beds, so on and so forth. And of course, whenever you get to the con, you'll be the one that'll be paying for the hotel, which includes a money transaction and so on proof of identification. After all, you're going to be the one that's going to be booking the hotel, so you need proof to show that you are who you are. You're also going to be the one that's going to be in charge of your hotel room itself. This will include keeping it nice and clean. This will include keeping up with cars or ways of opening and closing the doors, and so on and so forth. So if you are doing the hotel booking, make sure you know what you're doing, and make sure that you keep in charge of everyone else. After all, you don't want to end up having like a dirty room or having broken stuff, and now it costs you extra. Now, hosting hotels versus other hotels. Now, at the conventions, sometimes the conventions will be at a hotel that is hosting it. These are what we call host hotels. Then you'll have other hotels where they will be kind of near the convention and the hotel that is hosting. And sometimes you just cannot book the host hotel. However, there are pros and cons for each one. Now, the pro of getting a hosting hotel is that you're at the convention itself, so you don't have to worry about traveling to the con. You also don't have to worry about like staying over late and you have to travel all the way back to your convention, travel all the way back to your hotel, which can be dangerous at times. Also, you can also get special price offers. After all, sometimes host hotels may be cheaper since they're going to be doing a hotel event, which would be the convention. So sometimes their prices will be cheaper compared to what they normally are, along with being cheaper compared to other hotels as well. And sometimes you get better hotel experiences as well. After all, if you got a hotel that's hosting the con itself, they're going to do everything in their power to make sure that you have the best hotel experience ever. However, there are cons to this. You got to make sure that you book early. This means that you got to book months in advance. You may even need to book a year, basically right after the con ends. You have to book at that hotel just so you'll be able to get it for next year, which is crazy, but me and my friends, we have experienced that time to time. And speaking of which, you also get chaotic bookings as well. After all, you gotta make sure that you are on there, on the dot. After all, if you want to stay at that host hotel, you gotta make sure that there are plenty of rooms. You gotta make sure that you get that booking on the spot. Not to mention the parking lots and all that, it's gonna be insane. And also, you're gonna be fighting against a lot of people as well, just moving back and forth from your room to the con and all that, etc. And let's not even forget about the prices of food and service. After all, I think there was a time where me and my friends went to a regular convention that we always go to, and they gouge out their food prices, man. Like, I think breakfast alone was like $30 per person. And that was insane. And we didn't realize it until after we got done eating. Oh, it was crazy. And of course, there are services too, which may include but not limited to parking lot fees, towels, basically extra sheets, getting like Netflix and a bunch of other stuff, and watching stuff on their TVs, and so on and so forth. So it's crazy. And also, you don't have to worry about any of those things if you stay at a regular hotel. But of course, a regular hotel will have its own problems as well. After all, like I said, if you're staying at a host hotel, you're at the con compared to being at another hotel where you have to travel to the con. And you won't get special price offers and hotel experience and so on and so forth. Now, whenever you're going at the hotel, you want to make sure that you got a grouping thing. And when I say grouping, that means that you're with friends. This could be anywhere from like a group of friends, like numbering in 4 to 5, or just a small group like you and another person, or a third person. Now, there are pros and cons to that as well. A major pro is splitting the prices. After all, if y'all are going to be staying in the same hotel room, you don't have to worry about paying in full. You can just split it with your friends. I know me and my friends, we do this a lot of times, so I'm pretty much part of the pro grouping experience. And I will say, we are saving a lot of money when it comes to doing that. In fact, Me and two other friends of mine, we're going to be going to a convention in December, and I think my part is only going to be 200 compared to 600. So that is really good. Now, another thing about a pro of staying in a group is safety in numbers. After all, well, what did I grab? I have no idea what I grabbed, but I'm going to fix that. There we go. Here we go. But anyways, another thing about it is safety in numbers. Sometimes these conventions will be in areas that are considered either scary or dangerous. So having a number advantage will really help you out a lot. And it may even deter some people that may pose as a threat. And of course, we can't also forget about having fun with friends as well. After all, being with a group of friends can make any con experience that much more amazing. However, as much as there are pros, there are also cons. And a major one is sleeping arrangements. I will tell you, there are times where I had to sleep on an air mattress or even have to share a bed with some of my friends, and it is not comfortable. I think there was one year where me and my friend Silk, we had no choice but to share a bed. I took a bunch of pillows, put it between me and him, and I was like, okay, this is your side of the wall, this is my side. Do not cross the Berlin Wall. But yeah, we pretty much had to do that. So that will be an issue when it comes to being in a group. Another one is stuff arrangements. I will say, I love my friends. I really do. But when it comes to staying in hotels and stuff, it will often be a mess. We will have stuff scattered about everywhere, and I am a victim, and I am a, let's see, not a victim, what was I going to say? I'm a perpetrator of this as well, because I will leave some of my stuff scattered about here and there. So I'm just as much at fault as this as well. But you would often get like a lot of stuff scattered about. Sometimes it would get confusing. I know my friends, whenever they're trying to do their cosplays, they may be missing some stuff here and there. So we have to search the whole hotel room just to find their stuff. And another con that often brings about is stress and arguments. I will admit, there has been times where we have been in a lot of stressful situations, and that there has even been times where we argued a time or two. Like I said, when you're trying to get your cosplay ready, and there are stuff missing here and there, or something isn't packed right, that will cause a lot of stress for you. I know my friend Pink, she often gets stressed out a lot of times. And we always try to calm her down, but it doesn't really work time to time. Oh man, I really hope Pink doesn't watch this. Pink, it's nothing bad and stuff, you just do get stressful at times, okay? Now, another con is bathroom issues. There will be telling no many. Oh, there is so many times where I have to go and use the bathroom, like either having to go number 1 or number 2, or needing to take a shower and I have to wait. Whether it be because everyone else is using the bathroom, taking a shower, or even applying makeup on. So I do have to wait. Which, like I said, I'm also a perpetrator of this too. After all, I like taking nice hot showers. Anyways, now, the traveling part. When it comes to traveling, you have multiple ways of getting to the con. If you're going to a faraway con, I recommend just flying by plane. If it's a con that's kind of close by, maybe within like a couple of hours or so, I would just go by cars. If you're kind of at the convention and you have to travel to another hotel that's also hosting a con, because there are times where a hotel, hotel. There are times where cons will have like 2 or more. Oh my god, I cannot speak. Blah, 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 blah. There we go. There are times where a convention will have more than one hotel hosting it. I think the most I've ever seen is 5 hotels at a time, which is insane, by the way. But anyways, a lot of times those hotels will use like buses and shuttle buses to travel between the hotel to hotel. And of course, there's also the option of walking. If you're close by, you can just use your 2 legs and just walk. Yeah. And of course, there's etc., which may include bikes and so on and so forth. Now, there is a costing. After all, you gotta bring money to these conventions, whether it be by paying the hotel, paying the parking fee, paying for food, or just buying stuff at the con itself. Well, I often recommend a mix of cash and card. After all, some conventions are now having it to where they use card readers, so that way they're able to use like credit cards, debit cards, and so on and so forth. But I often bring cash with me as well, so I often recommend a mix of 2. But of course, if neither of them is an option, like if you use checks, which is like, okay, I just recommend doing that as well. Now, packing. This is very important. After all, you're going to be gone for a few days. You got to bring important stuff to bring. Necessities, the essential stuff, and all that. This will include clothing. After all, you don't want to be butt naked at a con. So bring your clothing. And make sure you bring multiple different pairs of shirts and pants and stuff. And underwear too. I know this sounds like me as a parent, but make sure you do that. And of course, you also gotta make sure that you pack your cosplays as well. Now, this is important as well, but make sure you bring your bath stuff. This includes soap. This includes shampoo, conditioners. This will include body washes. This will include toothbrushes and deodorant. Make sure you bring deodorant. Whew. You have no idea how many times I will smell people and I'll be like, bitch, put on deodorant. So yeah, that is important. Bring deodorant. And by the way, I am going to bring up the deodorant argument quite a few times here. Now, another thing to bring is money. There is no such thing as bringing too much money. After all, you're going to be spending at these cons. You need to bring it. Also, you may also want to bring electronics as well. This will include like cell phones, tablets, and even your own gaming consoles like a Nintendo Switch. After all, there's going to be lines and stuff, and it's going to get kind of boring. And also make sure you bring your medications as well. Like if you have a heartburn, or if you have some kind of mental thing going on, or if you have some kind of other illness and stuff that involves meds, make sure you bring them. And etc. too. Okay, that one took quite... Oh man, we still got a lot to go. I'm going to have to speed things up. So, without further ado, merch. This one should be kind of easy. After all, when you go to the dealer's room or the art rooms and stuff, you're going to be buying a lot of stuff. This will include art, which may include drawings, posters, digital arts, accessories, handmade items, 18 plus artworks, and so on and so forth. You can also buy clothing as well, which you see like regular clothing, which may have like anime or cartoon inspirations on there, or video games as well. I forgot to put that down. You know what? I'm not going to do that. You can also buy cosplays at the cons as well, and you can even buy foreign clothing. The main ones I often see is like Japanese stuff, like kimonos, hakumas, and so on and so forth. They are really nice, by the way. You can also buy food down there as well, like foreign snacks, which includes like Japanese food. You can also get candies and sweets as well. And speaking of which, you can also buy props as well. This includes props like from animes to video games. Like, for example, you may buy prop swords that goes with like a certain anime character that uses a sword. You can also buy like some armor pieces as well. You can also buy like repair props and so on and so forth. I think you may also be able to buy like wings and stuff too if you go to like the really huge ones. I'm not for sure though. You can also buy cosplay props and actual movie props as well. And I'm talking about like movie props that you will see like from the actual movies. Like I'm pretty sure there's like a replica sword that is kind of like a prop from Lord of the Rings. So that's cool. Now, you also get anime stuff as well. You can buy figures, plushies, jewelry slash accessories, movie slash series, cars, behind the scenes stuff, kind of like these rough sketches from actual studio productions, and even animation stuff. Now then, and last but not least, you can also buy weapons. And I'm talking about like actual weapons. In fact, a lot of the swords and weapons that I buy are from conventions. Although I did have to quit because of my nieces. I had to quit buying weapons. But anyways, some of these weapons may be anime-based weapons, movie slash TV series weapons. After all, like I said, there's that Lord of the Rings sword that I saw. You can also buy weapons based from video games. After all, Kratos' blades from God of War is a common one I see. You can also buy ordinary weapons as well. And of course, you can buy Japanese weapons like katanas, or naginata's, or Japanese war fans. I did bought that one time. I actually still got that guy. I have no idea where I put him though. Now then, another thing is pricing. A lot of these stuff are going to be expensive. I've seen price ranges going anywhere from $5 all the way up to $500 or so on and so forth. Especially these figures. I've seen some of these figures being up there in prices. I seen a $900 one at one time. It's insane. So yeah, that's pretty much all your merch stuff. Now then, guess. Now then, normally at these conventions, they will have a lot of guests, and these guests happen to be quite famous. And to name a few examples, you will get voice actors. I've met a few voice actors in my time. This will include Hisoka's voice actor, Ichigo's voice actor, Natsu's voice actor. I even met Roronoa Soro's voice actor, Chris Sabat, and that was amazing. You may also meet actors from movies as well. I really haven't met any personally, but at a Walker Stalker con that I went to, I have seen actors like Norman Reedus and Morgan that plays as Daryl and Negan from The Walking Dead. So that was pretty cool. You also get singers slash musicians. These are basically people that often do like their own raves and what's it called? Concerts. There was a time where me and my friends, we decided to go to a concert at one of the big conventions that we went to. And it was a Japanese band, and they were rocking hard. I have no idea about them, but you know, it's pretty cool. You also get some VTuber guest stars showing up. I mean, after all, at Twitch, they're pretty much filled with VTubers. You also get some cosplayers who are like these pretty good cosplayers that are quite famous on TikTok and stuff. I've met a couple of cosplayers that are quite famous. You may also meet like producers and directors, which I haven't met that myself, but I would love to meet them. And you may also get some other random guesses as well. Now, you may also get some artists that are on there as well, which includes like animators, comic artists, and etc. And of course, you may also meet some streamers. This will include YouTubers, Twitch streamers, Patreon, Rumble, and others. By the way, if there's anyone that's part of a convention and if you want me to be a guest, I am more than willing to cooperate. Just message me at. Wait. Just message me on Twitter, like DM me. Okay? Okay. Now, one thing I will say is that you have to show respect. This includes being kind to the guests, being polite to the guests, watch what you say, you don't want to say anything rude and stuff. No fighting and arguments, because that will give you some punishments, which includes getting kicked out of the con, or even getting arrested. Yeah. I think I might have seen that a time or two. Alright. Now, there are the rules. The rules? The rules. Now, the conventions themselves will normally have rules in and of itself, which are the rules and guidelines. Each cons will have their own rules, which you will be able to see on their websites or on their apps. Make sure you check their guidelines. After all, you want to make sure that you know what to do. And even the hotels have their own rules. And also, let's just be respectful here, shall we? Let's be kind. Let's be polite. Let's watch what we say. And don't be an asshole. Be good to people, please. I've experienced some people that are jerks. And let me tell you something. There are times that I wanted to kick their ass. But I can't. Because I don't want to get kicked out of the con myself. So please, just be kind and watch what you say. Now then, there are also common rules as well. As in, do not bring any weapons into the con from outside. Do not steal. Do not start any fights. Make sure you stay sober and don't get drunk, because I have seen some people that have gotten drunk at cons, and they cause a lot of trouble. Also, you cannot enter the con without a badge, so you do need that badge. And of course, there are other laws as well. After all, you gotta have the regular laws. I don't know how it is in other countries, but in the US, we do have our own laws. And also, while this one's not really technically a rule, I'm gonna add this one as well. Cleanliness. People, bathe every day or night. Do not stink up the place. Make sure that your clothes and cosplays are clean. Make sure they do not stink. And use a lot of deo. I have smelled people. It is not pleasant. Y'all are a bunch of stinking asses. Put on deo. And of course, if you don't follow any of these rules, there are punishments. This can include anywhere from getting kicked out of the con and being banned from the cons. And of course, you don't get any refunds. And like I said, getting arrested. I have not seen anyone get arrested yet, but I am pretty sure there are people that's got arrested before. Or at least got in major trouble, like that. So yeah, people. Make sure you follow these rules. Don't be a asshole. And make sure you stay clean. Now then, the next part is money. Gonna be like Mr. Krabs. Money. Now, you gotta make sure that you have ways to pay for your stuff. This can include normally cash, cards, and even cash apps. Which, I have no idea why. Why would they do cash apps and stuff? I sound like one of those old people that's like, why are young people like this these days? But anyways, make sure that you have a way to bring money. After all, you're not going to get anywhere as far at a convention if you don't have money. And speaking of money, you got to make sure that you spend money too. And there are a lot of things that you can spend on at a con. Whether it be the merchandise itself, the food and drinks, the hotel. After all, you got to pay to get into the hotel. Also travels, which can include, oh my goodness gracious, I cannot say that word. Which can include, finally, gas prices. let me tell you something. Those gases are really high. Oh yeah, you also gotta pay for your badge as well, and etc. Now, you're also gonna have prices for guests. After all, if you're wanting a signature, you gotta pay for it. If you want to get a photo with the guest, you gotta pay for it. If you want a guest to do a recording, they may have you pay for it, but I have seen others that do it for free, so it's kind of like, eh. You can also get a signed art. After all, these guests will sometimes sell like artworks that are signed by them, so that'll be a good thing. And of course, etc. Like if you want them to do something else. Now, badge and hotel costs. Depending on how long you're going to stay at a con, you may have low prices or higher prices. Low prices means that if you're staying at the con for 1 day, that means you get a 1 day badge, so it's not going to cost you as much as a full 3 day or a higher day pass. And of course, if you're staying for 1 day, you don't have to worry about hotel costs, because you could basically just go to the con itself, stay there for a bit, and then just leave and go home. Or if you happen to live close by to the con itself, you could just travel up there, then travel back home after the con, and then just go back the next day. But if you're like me and you have to travel to a lot of different places kind of far, then you want to stay at a hotel, which will include higher prices. Now then, and I kind of mentioned this before, but there are full-length cons where you have to stay there for the entirety of the con, which will cost you a lot of money. And also, as I kind of mentioned this before, you also have to pay for badges, and their prices will change based on the number of stay days. You could do a 1 day con, you could do a 1 day badge, you could do a 2 day badge, you could do a 3 day badge, or if you are at conventions that stay longer, you could do like a full-on badge. Now then, you also got the prices between host hotels and non-host hotels. So you may get like a better discount price at a host hotel, or you may have to pay in full for a host hotel, or you may not, you have to pay fully regardless. And of course, let's not forget about parking. After all, a lot of these hotels ain't gonna do free parking in this day and age. Boy, back in the days and stuff, back whenever I started going to cons and stuff, you get like free parking, but they don't do that anymore. Then again, there are still some conventions where they could do like free parking. Like I'm pretty sure the one that me and my friends are gonna go to in December, it's got free parking. So, good for me! Now then, eating and travel costs. Now, I'm going to say this. Foods at conventions are going to be ridiculously priced. I mean, heck, getting a hamburger with some accessories for like $10 alone, that's going to be outrageous. Then again, fast food restaurants are kind of getting up there too, so I can't really say that much. Now then, you also got breakfast and dining at the hotel, which are going to be ridiculously priced. And you're going to have fast food restaurants that's going to be close by, and restaurants as well. So, and I misspelled restaurant. God, I said, hang on, I cannot let that pass. I mean, let that slide. T-U-R. There we go. I hate it when that happens. Anyways, you're going to get prices at like these restaurants or fast food restaurants, which is going to cost a lot. And let's not forget about the snacks and water. They're going to charge water for like $3 to $4 at some of the conventions I went to, or even higher. So they're going to be outrageous. Now, speaking of prices for travel, you're going to have plane costs in case you're traveling by plane. You're going to have gas prices, which are going to be high depending on how far you're going to travel. You're also going to have out-of-country trip prices. And these are prices that's going to be ridiculous if you have to travel out of country. Now, unfortunately, I've never done this myself, and I have no idea if I'm ever going to do this. But if I do, I know it's going to cost me a lot of bling. Ooh. Pardon me. And of course, you're going to have prices on rides. And what I mean by it's like if you are a person that's going to be riding with your friend, you don't want to be a jerk and not help them out with gas prices. Make sure you give them at least a couple of bucks for prices. Me and my friends, we do this all the time. And let me tell you something. Whenever I'm the one driving, it's really nice for my friends to give me money. That way I'm able to not worry about gas prices. Now then, the next thing is the people. Dun dun dun. Now, obviously, you're not going to be the only one that's going to be at the convention. There's going to be a lot of different people. But what kind of people there are, that depends on the con itself. Now, you're going to have what is called attendees. These are going to be the people that's going to be going to the convention and having fun. This can range from regular people, because there are some regular people that goes here and there. Weebs, like me, who are a big fan of anime or stuff in general. You're also going to get some gamers that's going to go to these conventions, where they're just going to go to the gaming room and play video games. And by the way, this is kind of like a bit of a rant, but do you know how hard it is that you want to go to the gaming room and just want to play casually, but you can't because you have a bunch of people that plays games non-stop for hours? Yeah, it's kind of a bummer. Warning about that. You're also going to get some photographers. These are the people that like to go to the conventions and take pictures of cosplayers and stuff. Oh, and by the way, I think there's like a standard rule where if you're a cosplayer and stuff, I think you... Actually, no, I don't think that's a standard rule anymore. Never mind. I'm not going to say that anymore. But yeah, you're basically going to get a lot of people that's going to ask you for pictures. And if you're a type of guy like me that likes to get his pictures taken, especially when it comes to cosplays, I recommend that. Because let me tell you something, it feels so good to have someone come up to you and say like, hey, can we get a picture of you? Your cosplay is really cool. And I'm like, hang on. And I'm like, nope. Yeah, here you go. And I'm like, of course you can. I will be delighted to. I don't get a lot of pictures when it comes to my cosplays, so it's really appreciated. Now then, you're also going to get furries. Yeah, you're going to get furries. Now then, a lot of people you're going to get is cosplayers. Now, cosplayers are going to be the people that mainly go to the cons just to cosplay. They're going to show off their cosplays. They're going to be in photo shoots. Sometimes you're going to get people that are extreme cosplayers that's going to enter in cosplay contests. And so on and so forth. And of course, you get cosplayers that cosplays as anime and cartoon characters, video game characters, movie characters, comic/manga characters. You're going to get the furries, and you're going to get a lot of other people as well. Now, if you are a person that is cosplaying, you're going to get a lot of pictures taken, and sometimes be nice about it. I mean, I know it's going to be a problem if you're going to try to eat and stuff, and you're going to have someone be like, hey, can we get your picture? If you have to tell them no, say it politely. But of course, if you're the type of person that's going to be taking pictures of cosplayers, please be respectful and courteous as well. But I'm also this kind of person as well. I like taking pictures, especially of other people with their cosplays. So I am often a type of guy that's like, hey, excuse me, you wouldn't care if I get a picture? You got like a really cool cosplay and stuff, or something along the lines of that. And a lot of times I do get most pictures taken, or I take the pictures. There has been a few times that I have been told no, which is like, okay, but it's nothing to really get mad about. Now, you're going to get the shoppers. These are the people that's going to be in the dealer's room, and they're going to shop. or they're going to be in the art rooms going chop, chop, chop. Now, you're also going to be seeing peoples in groups, which there are pros and cons to that. You got pros in which you're saving money, you're going to be hanging out with friends, safety in numbers, and also not feeling lonely or getting lost, which happens to be a lot of the same points that I mentioned before. Let's see. But of course, a con of going in a group is sharing a room, sleeping arrangements, sharing events. After all, you got to make sure that everyone's going to the event at the same time, which can cause a lot of headaches. You also got to be planning out in a group. After all, you're going to be like, okay, we're going to be doing this from this time to this time. Then we're going to be doing this from this time to this time. Then we're going to go eat. Then we're going to be doing this from this time to this time, and so on and so forth. So yeah, you get a lot of planners. And of course, if you're in a group, you're going to get a group of cosplayers who often try to get ready and have a lot of stressful moments. Now, you're also going to get guests and workers. These are going to be the people that are either the guests or the ones that are working at the hotel and con. And speaking of that, you're going to see hotel staff. These are going to be people that are going to be like working at the hotel, which is like a normal day for them. You're also going to get volunteers. These are the people that volunteers to work at the convention to make sure that everything is running good and running smoothly. You're also going to get a lot of artists and sellers. These are the people that's going to sell you the merchandise or sell you their art. And of course, you're going to get a lot of guests as well. Now, you're also going to have people that are anywhere from first-timers to old veterans. And they are divided into 3 categories. You're going to have the beginners or first-timers. These are the ones that are going to the convention for the first time or kind of going to the conventions in general for the first time. These are the ones where they're kind of dipping their toes into it. You may see them again next year and stuff, but they're still new. Then you got the regular con goers. These are the people that are me. I like going to a bunch of different cons. And I have been going to cons for years now. So I'm basically a regular con goer. But it won't be too long before I become a veteran. These are the people that have been going to the same con for years at this point. And when I say years, I mean years. Probably to when the cons are starting for the first time ever. And I'm not talking about like cons in general. I'm talking about like certain type of cons. Now, I already mentioned this a bunch, but I feel like I gotta mention it again. Be respectful. Be kind to people. Be polite to people. Make sure you're clean. Use deodorant. Watch what you say. And cosplay respect. Now, I'm actually going to pause on this one. I have heard stories of people that has their cosplay ruined because of other people. Y'all, be respectful to cosplayers and try not to ruin their stuff. If a cosplayer tells you no about holding like a certain thing or touching like a certain clothing part, don't do it. Don't be a creep. Don't be a jerk that accidentally breaks their props like a wand or a sword or something. Or a wing. Especially when it's something that cosplayer has been working on for months. Don't do that. Also, no fighting. After all, you're probably going to get kicked out of the con, which will involve punishments. Getting kicked out or getting arrested. Alrighty, and it looks like we are on the last 2. With this one being safety. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Anything can happen at these conventions. Stuff can happen. This can include people getting overdosed, like if they're on drugs or something, which I have seen this a few times, believe it or not. Thievery. This could be people that may steal your stuff, or steal stuff at the con, which I think that has happened before. Fires. This could be where the hotel or the con itself suddenly catches on fire, which unfortunately this has happened one time before. Not like with the hotel or the con getting caught on fire, but we did have to leave the building because someone actually smoked in a non-smoking area and the fire alarm went off and everyone had to leave the hotel itself. It was annoying. There could be natural disasters, which can include earthquakes, tornadoes, wildfires, tsunamis, so on and so forth. And last but not least, which this hasn't happened to me, and I hope it never happens, but armed criminals / shooters. This can happen. However, there are safety tips that I have thought of to where you can keep yourself safe. This can include being aware of your surroundings. Basically, just keep an eye on your area and make sure that you have plans on escaping. Be aware of other people. Like if you are watch out how people act and stuff, and if you get a feeling that there's someone that's kind of doing bad, just be aware of them and make sure you try to get away. Watch your stuff. I've always have a habit of keeping my wallet in my front pocket, or at least touching my wallet to make sure that it's still there. And it's not just wallets. You also got to make sure that you watch out for your cosplay stuff. You got to watch out for your merch that you bought, or weapons in general. Which, by the way, at the conventions, they do have your weapons getting taped up. So as long as you aren't stupid and take that weapon out, you're good. Oh yeah, take safety precautions. If you have to, make like your own little scrapbook about what to do to keep yourself safe. Oh yeah, being in a group that has numbers will keep yourself safe. Self-defense. If you feel like you need to protect yourself, especially from someone that suddenly attacked you or something, do whatever you have to. Poke the person in the eye. Kick him in the groin. Punch him in the chest. Do whatever you have to, but make sure that you protect yourself. After all, you could go to a con any other time. What you cannot do is have another life. And also get help. If you feel like you're in danger and if there is no way around it, seek out help. This can include other con goers, or the police, or a volunteer worker. Either way, have someone to help you out. But despite all these that I say, there is one thing I do want to say. Do not let fear control you. I have always had my family members telling me to always be careful and sometimes for me not to go. But I can't help it. I love going to conventions. So because of that, sometimes I will swallow my nervousness and my fear and just go out there and go to a convention. And a lot of time I have fun. But of course that doesn't mean don't be stupid and don't be aware of your surroundings and stuff. Like I said, take all these tips that I said right here. Make sure that you stay safe. Alright? Be safe. But I will say one more thing. And this is kind of like the last thing I'm going to say. And that is... Whoops. Hang on a second. Go and have fun. Go and have a great time. You're gonna love going to conventions. I know I have. Even with me going so many years and stuff, I still have a lot of fun. And with that, that concludes my guide to conventions. The end. Alrighty. So, what do you guys think? Do you guys like my guide to conventions? I hope y'all had a lot of fun, and I hope y'all learned something about this. I know it took me a while to finally get on there, think about stuff and all that. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun with this, and I hope y'all get to learn something about this as well. And by the way, these are all things that I've learned based on my own experience. Not just mine, but also my friends as well. After all, me, Pink, Silk, Shade, Mira, and a bunch of others have went to conventions, and we've all had a lot of fun. And speaking of which, one of my friends that's going to a convention, Ace, this will be his first time ever going to a convention, so I hope to help him out and give him a great time. I may even show him this video and stuff, that way he can get pointers. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this stream. Bye guys. I'm kidding. Let me get everything fixed up here. Kind of get everything back to how it was. I'll talk to y'all for a bit, and then I'm gonna head on out. So, BRB. Alrighty, guys. Well, like I said, I hope y'all have fun on this guide to convention, and I hope you guys learn a lot of stuff from it. Let's see, I do plan on putting this on YouTube ASAP. So, for those of you that are on YouTube, I hope y'all learn a lot of stuff about it too. Now then, as I mentioned in the earlier before in the stream, tomorrow I'll be doing my Creature of the Week, which I'll be talking about a certain American dragon. So that's going to be fun. And I'm also going to be doing my SCP, the Ogre. The Ogre. And like an onion, I have layers. I'll be finishing up that. Let's see. Tuesday, I'll be doing my One Piece manga reaction. And I'll be playing One Piece Odyssey as well. Which will be 2 different streams, but I make it sound like I'm combining them into one. Let's see. And then Wednesday, I'll be playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And I'm hoping to play that game for a long while. Maybe up to about 4 to 5 hours at least. I hope. So yeah, that's pretty much that. And then I'll be starting my vacation away from y'all. Which is like... I know it's sad. I know. But I'll be back. I promise. I'll be back next Sunday. So it won't be that long. Alrighty, guys. I think that's pretty much it. I gotta get ready for bed and stuff. So with all that out of the way, thank you guys for coming on this fantastic stream. I hope y'all had as much fun as I did, as we got to learn about the guide to conventions, about the do's and don'ts. And if you wish to see more of these, or me in general, check me out on my Twitch page. Also check me out on Twitter, and check me out on both my gaming and my main YouTube channels, which if you guys want to, leave a like and subscribe to that as well. And with that, I bid this show adieu. So see you guys. So long. Bye bye. Okay, bye.